Very good evening, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be part of this panel. So this is the last one. So I'm Juli Jeypriya. I have 20 years of experience in the telecom domain as part of multinational organizations such as Verizon and Comcast. So I have seen both Comcast and Verizon scaling their network through the infrastructure and also the strategic play. So in both ways, I have witnessed their growth in terms of network scaling. And yeah, so hope you, like after lunch, you hold up your energy. If not also, don't worry, we will be connected. We'll ensure that this room is connected. Not through the Wi-Fi maybe, just through the conversation. So before I go into deeper, I'm really privileged and honored to moderate the session with our powerhouse panel. So the leaders, true leaders, who are not just talking, but they are shaping the way how the India or Tamil Nadu and India is connected with other countries as well. So let's, without further ado, move ahead with the introduction of Jaleen and Sudhir. Could you please introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jaleen Rajasekaran. I'm currently working as a head of engineering for Publicis Sapient. I have around 20 years of experience, mostly into networking, telco, and also on the cloud technologies. And I'm good at modernizing the application, moving the application from the legacy to the modernization part, the greatest and latest of technologies. Yeah.
Hi. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you in advance for paying undivided attention. As I see, the first few rows are empty, and I recollect my college days when I used to choose that kind of seats, you see. So at least we are able to hold your attention is what the endeavor will be, as much as we would want to share some insights into the topic that was told to you. My name is Sudhir Kunder. I predominantly come from telco, ICT, and now the interconnection business. I am designated as the Chief Business Officer for DE-CIX India. We are a part of the DE-CIX Global Group, which is based out of Frankfurt, Germany, celebrating 30 years of formation, and this is my 31st year of corporate life. Been with Airtel, Tata, Tatacom, Safi twice, both in the consumer business and the enterprise business of the versions. And I hope all three of us are able to make this 45 minutes worth your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sudhir and Jaleen. Let's move into the foundation part. So we all had a small room with a few computers, big computers connecting with the LAN sets. Now we have moved into multiple peripherals with the hybrid solutions, the edge, cloud, and even the mobile-first experience. So with those hybrid environment, how would you think, what would be the challenges in the infra part? So can you go ahead, Jaleen?
Yeah, that's a great question, Juli. I think the primary challenge is the bandwidth. Along with, we have other challenges, including the legacy application integration or the automation pieces or security. So we have a lot of other challenges, but I feel, in my point of view, the bandwidth is the critical one. Why I feel so is the pressure on the network is huge, right? So if you think about a real-time event like a sporting broadcast or a new news getting updated, critical news getting updated, the network demands, the surge in the network is high. So the telco providers, network providers, or even the enterprise have to provide that, that consistent service to the customers, and irrespective of this load, right? That's where I feel like this bandwidth is very important. And does our current network supports that? I don't think so, because we are moving petabyte of data, and whatever the core network that we have built are not meant for that. For example, if you take a AI training, right? A particular model could involve multiple servers, thousands of servers even, to process that petabyte of data. So if you have a 10 gig or 100 gig network, it will not help you. Like, you may feel the slowness in the system, the performance issues, the delays. So we need a better high speed, low latency link systems like 400 gig or 800 gig. And like many Cisco or network providers like Cisco, Juniper are already supporting through the routers and switches. And major telecom providers like Verizon, T-Mobile, they are already into this 400 gig network. And the next move is to go for this 800 gig. And eventually they're also looking for GPU as a service from NVIDIA to process that huge volume of data. So with all these things coming up, we are evolving. But I would say like the speed is not the only thing that will solve this scalability problem. We need a lot more. We need AI as a solution here. We need the forecasting and prediction based on AI to understand what is happening really in the system and to say like what happened in the past, what happened present, what is happening present, and what is the user preference, or I could even say like what is that even going to come in the future that needs network allocation. So all these things should come as a parameter to AI, and today we are evolving in the AI, and we have a lot of models and training happening in the system that helps in the scaling, and we are evolving on that aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, you directly hit on the nail. As part of Verizon, I even have witnessed the scaling, the network scaling happened through the infrastructure enhancement. So they have, invested a lot in the infrastructure part, expansion of the fiber or expansion of the launching of the 5G networks, edge computing in all those areas. So that was a huge part of investment and also a lot of effort to be provided on the AI invention side, AI-driven insight side too. So in terms of complexity, when I think of that, I would probably move on to Sudhir. I would like to understand the growth is not just happening within the metro cities. So it is now we need to grow into the tier 2 cities as well. So how does that interconnections or internet exchanges can improve the performance between those tier 2 cities?
So this is something that's been close to our founding ethos and myself as well, because every nation will have its own challenges and opportunities. And for the Western world, the ability to gauge the kind of geographic expanse that we are sitting in is a little bit difficult. So in order to make people understand, and I'm sure a lot of you all would agree, that if you take Uttar Pradesh as a country, for example, it will be the 5th largest country in the world. So that's the kind of geography that we are dealing with today, right? What is the current infra in terms of an interconnection platform? The only one which is distributed among 6 locations in India is Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore and Hyderabad. So that's where the world ends for most of us. But that's only the India part of it. We need to look at the Bharat part of it as well. And that's where if you go to EdTech, majority of the content creators in the education field, you will 90% find them from tier 2, tier 3 cities. And if you look at the struggles that they go through, it is humongous. All the SMEs, SMBs, enterprises who are even 150 kilometers away, you will have major issues that they would be facing. So what we've done in terms of getting latency is the new currency being propagated in all our discussions, whether it is globally or in India, is the fact that one, build a robust network which helps people with first thing, which is ease of doing business, security, scalability, and the ability to be able to think of what they want today, tomorrow, and day after. Here is where we played an important role in getting a lot of customers from the hinterlands of India connected. It's an arduous task, but that's the way we built the business with, ease of doing business, right from pre-sales, sales, and post-sales. Go closer to the things happening today, if I want to call it so, edge. An edge location is a very nice piece to speak about. But when does an edge actually become a business case positive for you? Is when you are able to orchestrate the heart, the brain, and the hands, which actually mean your AI, IoT, and 5G for enterprise are able to orchestrate their own magic in that particular location. So that location, when it is with an interconnection platform like ours, actually brings business to the fore. So becoming low latency is not a luxury today, it is a necessity. Even if you are at home and your children, if I can see the target audience here, would be doing low latency gaming, he would keep on complaining if he doesn't get the right kind of bandwidth. And if your guy, the broadband provider, is connected with somebody like us, then you get the benefit of it, just as an example. On the other hand, smart cities, smart homes, everything and anything that you want to do with tech today has to have a latency story to it. And not everything is going to be happening in these 6 locations that I mentioned. Hence, we are pushing the envelope all the time with various collaborations that we do, not only with private players, but also with players who have some kind of government holding, so that we are able to impress upon them the fact that this piece cannot be done by one organization on its own, but it has to be like a ecosystem that develops on mutual trust, openness, and the ability to work together as a set of organizations who want to see the $1 trillion digital economy taking place. And I firmly believe that if there is no network, there is no fun with you having GPUs and AI and a great data center and storage. Where's the low latency network that you're talking about today? So that's where I think we are pushing our bit in the business. With due humility, we can say we've been 4 years India's #1, Asia's #1, APAC actually, 29 countries, 153 exchanges in Mumbai. But that's where is the comma and not the full stop. I think there is a lot that we can do to serve the ecosystem and make things better.
Yeah, that was very detailed and insightful. So next time when we hear if Chennai or Salem, or sorry, Coimbatore or Salem have the higher speed than Chennai, then we know who is responsible for it. So this is exactly I want to explore. So how the infrastructure, the innovation and intelligence come together to play in terms of connectivity scaling. So that is really interesting. So let me come back to the design again. Let me go back to Jaleen. We have implemented this SDN and NFVs. So in the previous panel also, they were discussing about these. So when we implement all these, so do you think how scalable it is, or how can it be agile networking, or how is it ensure their promises? Is it really working, or is it really in a work in progress?
The answer is yes and no. Okay, I'll tell you first why yes. So we have to before I answer this question, we have to see how traditionally we did this, right? So telco industries initially was using all the static ways of measuring the network, anticipating the load, and they manually configured the network, right? They did it in weeks, months. People from who are experiencing this for 20 years will definitely witness this. So it was like that, right? They either underutilize and waste the network resources, or that was overutilized kind of. So with SDN, NFE, or even the edge computing coming in place, the shift is big, right? We are now programming it and making it flexible, and the resource allocation is very faster. Why I say no is, again, do we have that real-time optimized allocation, right? So are they considering all the parameters when they actually do that allocation is a question. So AI, I mean, if you come back to today, right? Today we are seeing a lot of AI-based SDN, NFE and all. And that is what really bring the value to the customers. If there is an event going to happen, it is taking a lot of parameters from the market or even the user preference, and based on that data, it is taking that as a resource allocation. Now, again, this has its own challenge, right? This is an advancement, but again, it has its own challenge. The challenge here is, if the data is not proper, Or if the model is not fine-tuned, again you will end up in the same problem, like underutilization, overutilization. So that's again boiling down to the same point. So the data, how we process it and how we are configuring it to the network and how much you are using the data really matters here.
Okay, so it is beautiful. Actually, previous session also he mentioned about the abstraction. The abstraction is beautiful until it breaks at 3 a.m. during the deployment, right? So yeah, let's think forward. With the IoT and AI workload surge, so Sudhir, do you think we can cope up, the current infrastructure can cope up in 2-3 years with the 10x growth?
Actually, no. That's a very unpopular answer, but that's the reality and there's no sugarcoating it. The pace at which we are seeing implosion of data, right? I was telling somebody recently that global interconnect data in itself in the next 4 years is going to shoot up by 27,000 terabits, right? India's own data explosion is a story which all of us know, 250 million users 10 years back. Today we are the second largest population using it with 900 million. But put it in a different perspective and see that a large country, many resources, every resource working independent of each other. So you have the BharatNet, which has 6.92 lakh kilometers. You have Airtel with about 1,20,000 kilometers. And you have our own RailTel with about 68,000 kilometers. But 1 kilometer does not touch the other kilometer. And then we expect that we will be able to see the humongous growth of traffic coming in from tier A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, culminating into making us a digitally empowered nation. So I think we have a lot of room to cover in terms of how boardroom discussions or white papers get actually implemented when it comes to it, because we are contributors to the white papers that the Department of Telecom, that the TRAI keeps calling on an annualized basis, and at the cost of being one of the most unpopular set of people talking in that room, we ensure that we don't sugarcoat things, because I think it's time for everybody in the decision-making body to figure out that a public-private partnership is the only way to go for a country like India, where you can leverage each other's strength. And while we talk so much about the digital public infrastructure piece, you know, you will have a half-an-hour video playing somewhere when you go to YouTube. But behind that is a story of a lot of struggle, a lot of failure. And what happened recently, all of us know, so I wouldn't want to allude too much into it. But the brighter part of the story is that if a DRDO developed weapon system is being used effectively and efficiently in the battlefield, they have now on their own gone ahead and opened up for a lot of defense tech companies to say that, come, you can manufacture this and massify it for the requirement that a country like India will have. That only gave me the hope and led me to a prayer that maybe someday we will see the same thing happening with our infrastructure, which, if not in the very immediate period, it's an SOS period for us, then we will definitely start hitting the bandwidth wall, because what you and I used to use as 1 gig, 1 GB per month, we are using 19 GB per month. Your physical exercises also today happen within the house where you put on your TV, and that requires low latency. So there is so much of stuff that we do online today that I think I can keep on and on. The very touchy subject, close to my heart, but I think there is huge room for us to work as a nation and as stakeholders, very small like us also, to act as a catalyst to make things happen.
That's very honest answer.
I also want to add a few points with respect to the future readiness. You know, like I have witnessed building the one fiber network for Verizon, right? So when we were building that fiber network, it was not that easy. I was talking about 2017 to 20, that time where we laid the backbone for the 5G network that we are seeing today. And from the central office to the last mile, to lay that fiber and to make that coverage across all the US market was not that easy. And considering the volume that's coming up, building up that backbone or even the 5G cell towers, that's going to be a real challenge. And that way, even I agree with Sudhir.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with that. So even in the last session in other room, someone was talking about the AI application is for the end users. It's not just for end users. The companies are investing a lot to get their insights from the AI driven insights, right? So I completely agree with that. And I even wonder, okay, every day we see a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of data is saved in every mobile. Like where it is going to end. I actually underestimated saying that 2-3 years 10x growth. It should be like within 1 year. I would say it is going to be more than 10x growth. Yeah, I completely agree with that. So with that, moving on to the other one. So now moving on to this enterprises evaluating the private 5G and the campus networks. In abroad, it is very easy. The business implementations, every company has their own private 5G, I would believe. But how about India? Why is it, what is it lagging or what is it, why they are hesitant to go for it?
Okay, that's an interesting question. We just had an offline discussion about it. Thing is, right, so the small companies, right, so they still prefer this Wi-Fi 6 or 6E because it's good enough for them and it's cost efficient. But the bigger enterprise companies or the medium companies, they are looking for this private 5G because of the device-to-device connections, the private network they have, the server connections, the user connections they look forward. And as this is very private, it is helping the public network also. It is not interrupting with the public network, and that way it is helping the private networks flowing freely out of this private 5G. And until now, just before this discussion, I was under the impression it is very cost effective. But again, I just came to know that it is use case based, right? And where do we need that? Private 5G, and how we implement it, and what is the benefit we are going to reap out of it is all something that we need to consider before going for 5G.
Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah, so even I was thinking that yeah, it is not that easy here in India. So that why it is not it is difficult, it is not easy. That I would like to hear from Sudhir. So Sudhir, you have closely worked with a lot of government regulatory bodies. So how helpful it is, how easy it is to implement within India, how supportive the system is, especially to the private players.
So, see, very simple extension of your earlier question. While we are talking about network, fiber, you will be surprised to know that despite the numbers that I gave out, only 32% of our towers, and all companies publish their figures, you can go and look up, and then you'll be very happy saying, oh wow, we have so many towers. Only 32% of them are actually fiberized. As compared to Europe, or the US, where you have a minimum of 70 to 80% of the mobile towers being fiberized. One is that. Second, coming closer home, for our own businesses, we keep struggling because we have always done business the right way. So when you want to do the business the right way, permissions, licenses, dependencies, and then wanting to see somebody grow, but you know that he can't grow because of certain regulations that he gets stuck with, especially the internet service provider industry for that matter. So I believe that policy in general needs a little bit of loosening up, but also the fact of a mindset. The mindset is that, oh, this is a network business company, they're a cash cow, you start milking them right from day one. You'll be surprised to know that places like Hyderabad, Mumbai, if you have to dig and trench 1 kilometer, the license fee is 1.10 crores. 1 kilometer.
That's
yeah?
huge.
Then the reinstatement cost, then the whole thing, you know how it works. But if that's the kind of cost that you're going to be saddled with at one end for any new layout, things might be a little bit more softer other places. But generally, if you see, regulation in this kind of a time when you're going to be hitting a bandwidth wall very soon becomes one of the biggest showstoppers. then the ability to have a single window clearance becomes very, very important, because if you're a mid-size organization and you want to do things the right way, you have 25 windows to go through. That your go-to-market then takes a hit, your time taken to actually monetize the investments that you make. So it's a full web of problems, issues, challenges, and all the nice things that we say. But it's a tough thing to do, and I think as we see some hopeful things happening in the recent past, in the next couple of years, you should see some movement happening. And if you see a government that does that, you see, no offense meant to other governments, but if you go to Andhra Pradesh, you go to Tamil Nadu, for example, where we are sitting, AP State Fiber Limited, the way they've been able to spread out and get fiber right to the Gram Panchayat level is a Herculean task that they've done with a lot of peripheral folks supporting them. I recently was able to enable one organization in Gujarat which has got 17,000 villages that they have covered. I took a hit on my financials while I made a deal with him, but I just wanted to ensure we do our bit. Chennai, I remember back in 2021, and for those of you all who are on LinkedIn, you can go and check it. I said that this place is going to be the next El Dorado for the data center industry, and a lot of people mocking me, saying that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Not knowing the fact that today, the Honorable Minister during the ASSOCHAM session declared that probably we will be doubling the data center investments and the capacities in the next 2-3 years. So having seen how I wouldn't say I'm an astrologer, but a basic understanding of business, network and the challenges around it need to be addressed by all stakeholders in the overall interest of the organization. So now it is just like you have national security, it is the national well-being from a digital India point of view which is at stake now.
Yeah, I believe it is going to happen with the current status, like current support of the Tamil Nadu government. I believe so. Yeah, I'm not also an astrologer. But yeah, it is going to be continuously, the alignment between the policy and the tech would be kind of parenting, I would say. It is constant negotiation and occasional surprises, I would say. And of course, when we talk about this private 5G and all, it is like the enterprises is going to build their own, road, but it is going to take a lot of delay and constructional cost, something like that. So with that, I would like to understand, how the innovation or the intelligence going to play a part here, how the AI-driven insights going to help here in the implementation. Would you please go ahead, Jaleen?
Okay. When it comes to intelligence or how AI is going to play a role, we need to see the holistic picture here, right? So when we do the monitoring, right, we have to monitor at every level, data center or data, or it could be infrastructure, application, so networking, every level we are monitoring, and we are collecting a lot of information, right? Metrics, events, logs, and traces. So all these informations are flowing into the system. Through various tools we are collecting it. Today in the market you have a lot of telemetry tools like Dynatrace, Neuralink, or the network is collecting a lot of telemetry information from the gRPC. So those informations are flowing into the system. What are we doing with that? How much is it insightful to us? How we are remediating out of it? How much our self-healing system is? Are we able to correlate the different errors that's happening within the system into one single event, right? So are we able to do that correlation? Is that mapping happening correctly with the AI models that we have today? So those are something that we have to look after. And also we need to understand how we are converting that into a self-healing script and reducing the manual touch here. So that way, when you implement the monitoring system and the self-healing system into the entire ecosystem, like from the bottom level, from the layer 0 to layer 7, in all the places, right? So you will be able to bring a lot of insights, but the hard truth is we are able to get the insights based on only 30% of the data, right? The remaining 70% is still a bad data. Nothing done, right? So we need to improve that percentage, and then we need to bring a lot of self-healing scripts and automation and AI on top of it. That way it will be more effective.
Yeah, when you talk about this, the not utilized data or bad data, so I'd like to share my experience with Comcast. So they're not just providing the broadband, but also they are building the AI-driven insights. So providing the analytical pipelines of analyzing the network health, the customer behavior, and by which they got the real-time telemetry data, they have improved the customer experience also. So that way, of course, I agree that we need to march towards that refinement of data and utilization in terms of AI-driven strategies. So next, I would like to ask Sudhir about one direct question. At what point does the connectivity becomes without being a cost center, it is going to become the growth, driven or scaling of the business?
Important, tough, and tricky question. So the moment you see business outcomes being governed by the kind of network that you use, automatically the shift in mindset and the management of your P&L towards that happens. And we've seen this happen because more often than not, these are all hidden costs that people don't want to look towards. And a couple of examples, if I have to give you, even a 10 millisecond improvement will lead to a minimum of 10 to 12% of customer conversions for you. At the same time, if you are in a mission critical job, 1 hour of downtime would cost you about 2.5-3 crore rupees converted into Indian rupees from dollars. So that's the nature of hit when people take. More often than not, we become intelligent in hindsight only. And that's how the business shift becomes an imperative as a network rather than maybe good to have or it is a cost, so let us see what to do about it. Take to my own experiences where we've seen a lot of organizations. Now that we are in South, I'll name one of them. I'm sure a lot of you all will know In Time Nethralaya from Bangalore. They used to be called as Naran Nethralaya. Problem statement was very simple. AWS workloads in Singapore, Bangalore to Singapore via Tatacom, IPLC 330 millisecond. Come to DE-CIX's direct cloud, 40 millisecond. So that's the kind of shift when people they see. You see a lot of investments happening in the right direction, where you are able to bring down latency by 85-90%, give them total cost of operation also coming down because you are not using costly IPLCs. At the same time, it gives you flexibility, dexterity, more security. And when you put the whole thing in place, then it is no longer a discussion about cost, it is a discussion about the value proposition that it brings to the organization. And if your future is linked to high performance outcomes, automatically you will see the shift happening, which we've been seeing in both B2B and B2C segments that we operate in.
I would say it is about more on the mindset shifting, right? So that's interesting. So now let's shoot upward directly. So how do you think about satellite and LEO-based connectivity helps? Is it time to bring them into enterprise streaming? Could you, both of you, share your opinion?
Okay. Yeah, satellite is the best way to ensure the coverage, through, for example, with Verizon, through One Fiber, we have provided that 90% coverage, for all the US market. But the remote places we couldn't cover. So now Verizon has come up with a strategy to connect via satellite for their SMS service. It's free of cost today, but eventually it will be cost-based. And similarly, if you look at T-Mobile or Starlink, they are already having this voice plus LOT, and this service is also with low cost. So the coverage, wherever you couldn't go for the coverage, right? So there, this is playing a vital role. Would you like to add, Sudhir? Yeah.
So we've seen this a little bit closer to the Indian market, one of the biggest buzzes that you've seen in this business, and being an organization that serves the new entrant in the Indian market with about 7,800 G ports. one fairly understands the game is not only about having a constellation of 6,000 satellites on your orbit, but also having a very, very strong ground-based infrastructure. And that's where I feel a country like India, cost is very important. I'm sure all of you all know that recently Mercedes celebrated selling 2 lakh cars, 200,000 cars in India, right? But still, I think 9 out of 10 guys who bought it said, at the end of the day, kitna deti hai, what is the mileage? So that's how we are always as a populace. So not wanting to take the cost piece into play from a consumer or enterprise piece with whom we've been dabbling for the last 30 years or so. A very strong based ground infrastructure will eventually, and now with this announcement, surprising though, on the same day with two of the largest duopoly players, so to speak, at least will ensure that the satellite organization will have a large ground-based infrastructure available, and it will give them the ability to price it in a manner in which it moves beyond the concept to actual execution and the volumes, as every country who wants to come into India to do business looks at us as a consumption-driven economy and a huge populace which is willing to pay the right fire price.
I think of my childhood days. I was looking at the stars moving and we were shouting, okay, there's no satellite going around. That was given by my dad actually. Even otherwise, even I was not aware that it was a satellite. But hope soon we will be looking at multiple stars moving around us. Who knows? Fingers crossed. So let's wrap up this session with a lightning round. Sudhir, if we had to unlock nationwide scalable connectivity, what is the one challenge, that too in 18 to 24 months, what is the one challenge you would like to fix first, which is talent, tech, policy or mindset?
We don't have a dearth of talent and tech for sure. It's the policy and the mindset that came out in our conversation some time back. So just
Which is the first one?
Policy.
Okay. You know the pain.
That too a nationwide one, so that there is a comprehensive outcome that we can derive as well.
Okay. What about you, Jaleen? What would you say?
I feel like it is. Should I choose one or two?
You should choose the first fix.
I would say like the mindset to change the technologies and upgrade. We are no longer thinking whether we need AI or not. We moved out of it, right? So we now started asking how can I implement. So it's all about making the change in the system. So tech and mindset to change the tech is what priority for me.
Yeah, thank you. So such a nice answer. She doesn't want to give one answer, so she has combined like again mindset with technology. Okay, that was brilliant.
If you don't update, right, we have seen example in the past who got out of the market, right? I can quote a number of examples, but I don't want to do in public forum. But it is happening. If you don't upgrade yourself, you will not be able to sustain in the market. It's for the individual as well as for the companies and for enterprises. So it's important and it's pushing us now.
I completely agree. I understand too. So thank you so much for such rich, insightful discussion. Thank you so much, audience. And let's stay connected, not through the Wi-Fi, maybe again the connectivity through virtual, without, of course, with the fastest speed and low latency. Thank you. Nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.